For this example here, the derivative of sine is cosine. Now, to do this using the definition of the derivative, we actually need to have two identities. One of them is going to be sine h over h equals 1, and the other one is cos h minus 1 over h as h approaches 0 is equal to 0. Now, I just want to show you this example because we can do things using identities and not necessarily doing everything algebraically, but you would not be expected to do this on your own on a test. So let's set this up though. We want to set up the limit as h approaches 0 of sine of x plus h minus sine x over h. Okay. Now what we want to generate are these two identities. One of them is sine h over h, and to do that we want to split this up, get rid of the x plus h and use an identity to do that. And we're going to use the sum identity for sine. So it looks like this: sine x cosine of h plus sine h cosine x. Okay, and then we're going to minus the sine x here. That was our identity, that's our sum identity, and then we want to divide by h. Okay, so I can see here, I just want to highlight this. There's the identity that I was looking for over here. Okay, there's another one here, but we're going to have to factor to get that other identity. So I get the limit as h approaches 0, and I'm going to group these two terms together. So this term and this term get grouped together, and I'm going to factor the sine x. So I end up with sine x cosine of h minus 1, and I'm going to put that all over h, plus I get my sine h over h cosine x. Okay, so I've now generated those identities. Here's the identity that I wanted. Here's the other identity over here that matches this one. Okay, so then now I can evaluate this. So limit as h approaches 0, I can actually evaluate this limit. So this becomes sine x times, well, that one ends up being equal to 0, plus, that's equal to 1. And then we end up with cos x. So this becomes cosine of x. And that's how we can use identities to generate the derivative of sine x. Now, this is very different than how we did the other one. So the other one was just using pure algebraic methods. This one had to use identities to get there. And again, I don't expect you to be able to do this one, but I just want to show how we can use identities to evaluate these limits.